So yesterday I drove for Uber 318 miles, roughly 11 and a half hours. Of course, after the first 2 hours, my car was acting up. It seems the more time I drive it, my car wants to trip me out and spook me by reading high temperature on the water gauge. And being as this is how I make my money driving this car, I don't want to get to the point where it overheats and I'm stuck on the side of the road. Hopefully not with a passenger in the car. That'd be even worse, because Uber would probably refund them or something, I don't know. And then most likely they would take the money out of my pocket. So don't want that to happen. Don't want to end up blowing a head gasket. So that would suck. Yes, that would suck a lot. Of course, being as the 10 freeway's down, we have hit some traffic, but at least my side's moving. The other side will start moving once the light turns green, I think. Yeah, they're moving slowly but surely. One thing, I better buy some cigarettes before I get to my grandfather's house, because he doesn't like to share. He will, he just doesn't like to. Freeway entrance. So, I've had to do a lot of work to this car. Did all of it myself, saved me a bunch. I don't know how the other Uber drivers are making it, because especially with the recent price change, which the riders don't notice because it's not on their end, it's really changed. It's just on between us and Uber. Uber gets 25%, but they dropped the fare and the rate price and then raise their service fee to make up the difference. So riders are still paying the same, we are getting a lot more. Going from San Bernardino to Los Angeles, that's like 75 miles, I think. I'd make 75 bucks. Not bad for hour and a half driving. And then LA's where the money's at, so I just took somebody where I was heading anyways to make more money. So that pretty much pays for the tank and a little bit of food, and I get to make more money, which was Not always a fast thing to do, easy thing to do, but now going to LAX for the same time and distance, it's like 45 bucks or something. They only changed it by like, it was 95 cents a mile, now it's 65 cents a mile. Or 70. I don't know, it's weird because it's a big ass difference. You know, take somebody over 50 miles, 45 minutes. They tell you now if it's a 45-minute drive, and I'm about to the point where I'm gonna stop accepting those ones because now I make more money doing short trips as long as I can get them pretty close together. So if you don't know how to work on your own car, I suggest you don't do Uber unless it's just something to kill the time and to write off with taxes. Because as long as you don't make more than $20,000, you don't have to pay any taxes on that. Of course, now you got to have a business license, so they're always trying to get somebody. Looks like the freeway's moving. I should have got on Riverside Avenue, but I went down one more exit. Or actually, it was Pepper. Now I'm down to the 9th Street, or Rancho exit. Yeah, but at the end of my trip, my day yesterday, I want to say it was around midnight. My car had been running well over the middle one. A couple ticks, or like maybe a quarter way to the third tick from the middle one, or a third at least. And it ran that temperature all day. This car has always been about where it's at right now. Well, not right now, but just a second ago. Because it seems to be fluctuating. It never did that either. So, but it got all the way up to like the third one here. Maybe even like a little higher. Like right around here. It's not hot, but that's a dangerous fucking temperature, especially if you drive anywhere from, well, let's just say I usually do over 12 hours straight each time, because that's where the money's at. Especially being as I live over an hour away from where the money is. San Bernardino, either people are broke or they don't want to waste the money to have somebody else drive them. Which is fine, I mean, there's enough people where, and if it wasn't for my life issues, I would just get a full-time job, but I can't work a full-time, so it is what it is. I got other priorities. This guy is just stop. Go, idiot. You can squeeze through there even though he's making a right. There you go. Squeeze by this damn trucker. front row of the car, I mean, I don't know if you can tell by the RPMs and all that. I mean, it seems to be driving good, but to me, being as I've been driving this car for the last 2 years, you know, I only had 27,000 miles when I got it. I mean, that's practically new, you know. Engine ain't even broke in at that point. But now it just seems like it's working with less RPMs. I've done some stupid things. You know, for instance, I pulled my uncle's truck with this and didn't know that he didn't know how to drive. So we're doing like roughly 10-15 miles an hour, and I got him tied to my car and he's weaving left and right. It almost became a pretty bad thing. I think it threw my car out of alignment, so that sucks. So that's just more money I gotta come out of pocket for being considerate and loving and wanting to help people, even though it is my family. But it backfired. Now, hopefully before we reach my destination where I'm getting off this freeway, which as you can see, thank God we ain't going the other way. Because let me tell you, that goes on for roughly, I want to say 10 miles. Yeah, it's ugly. It's ugly for those guys. Because I was going this way, and as you see, it's empty. Real empty. So, yeah. Like I said, when I gun it, if the temperature's a little high, it starts to drop. But if I were to like maintain my speed and my RPMs, and the road starts to have an incline to it like it is right now, normally that gauge will start rising. And unless I give it more gas, it'll keep rising, or it'll slow down, or it will drop. Car sounds good, but like I said, it feels like not like a real big difference. Like if somebody new were to drive my car that's not used to my car, they would think that, oh, your car's fine, there's something wrong with it, the temperature gauge. Well, not per se the temperature gauge, but you know, temperature issues. But to me, it feels like I'm working with like less horsepower, and the engine knows what it's supposed to be doing, so it's trying to, you know, like that choo-choo train. I think I can, I know I can. You know, it's trying to put out what it's supposed to be doing, but for some reason, it's unable to do so, as though somebody's holding it by the shirt. So, as you see, the temperature's rising. Now, last night, as I said, it got way past where it is right now. Not bad enough where, but I was about to the point where I was about to stop, pull over, and be like, oh shit, let's let it cool down a bit. Now, if I was in Northern California, I probably really wouldn't have any problems to the extent of what I'm having here in Southern California, because it's a lot of flat country up there. You know, these freeways, there's always a slight incline, you know, and my car is not liking it whatsoever. And, you know, for the amount of miles I put on this car, you know, I do oil change like every month. I service the transmission. You know, sometimes the engine, I'll service it every other week. You know, it just depends on how much I drive, how many hours, whatever. You know, my transmission, I try to service it every other time. that I service the engine, because I'm putting, I'm doing at least anywhere from 300 to 500 miles a day. And this is how I make my money. The way that my car is acting right now, my daughter's birthday is in a couple of weeks, and I may have to cancel that because I don't know to what extent my car needs to be repaired and what it's going to cost me, and if I'm going to be able to do it myself, it might be fairly cheap, but time consuming. Of course, if I take it to a shop, it'll be time consuming for somebody else, but they'll get paid to do it a lot more than what I would save if I did it myself. Probably. I don't know. So as you see, it's getting up there. Now it seems to think that that's the temperature it's supposed to be doing. And I've gone, I don't know, maybe 3 miles. Sometimes it seems to shift a little hard, or when I'm braking, I speed up and I apply the brakes, it seems to downshift a little hard. I put stuff in it for that, but I don't know. I may need, pretty soon, of course, I'm going to either have to have the transmission pretty much replaced, I think, or have the gears, whatever, swapped out in it. And when it comes to stuff like that, I don't really have the necessary tools to make it easy. I mean, I don't have a lift. And I'd probably have to drop the transmission for a thing like that. Now we're going downhill. It was a slight incline. No more than 300 feet up and then 300 feet down. But of course, eventually it's not going to matter if there's an incline. The temperature will steadily rise until it's about halfway to the third mark, or a quarter of the way anyways. Quarter to a third of the way from middle to the next one before the H. So between where it's at now and about like right here, but normally it's like about right here. It'll hold there. Funny thing is, it did a little bit better before I replaced the water pump. Now, of course, it might be the thermostat. Maybe I got a faulty thermostat. I don't know. Now we're going downhill again. But at least you got to see is what some of it is doing. Now I'm gonna drop down, switch lanes, and bring the speed to about 65, 50 miles an hour as we're going up this incline. So that way, hopefully, you'll be able to see what it is that I am seeing. see we got an incline. And it's still inclining. I'm gonna try to hold it. Keep myself from giving it gas and just make the car work to get up. Well, there we go. I accidentally hit the throttle a little bit. Let's see. Cruise control on. Set. Oh, did that just read warning system? No, it went away. It's weird. 21 minutes, I'll have to go back to that. Check it. That's probably all we're gonna get right now. I'm about to my destination. So you're seeing a little something of what I'm seeing. Trust me, it gets worse, a little worse. The more hours I drive, of course, the worse it gets. And like I said, I have 13 hours for 300 something miles, 10 hours. It was like almost to this point right here. I think it might have got it even a little bit over. And I was really starting to freak out, which is why we are doing this today. Thank you. Hopefully you give me some advice. Bye.